All right, welcome back to another edition of the Horsemen Pro Football Talk podcast. This is the Week 9 preview, and I'm Brad.
This is Zach.
And I'm Hefe.
All right, if you're watching this, please hit that subscribe button, then the bell icon so you never miss an episode or miss your chance at a jersey giveaway. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, head on over to YouTube and help us out, and we certainly appreciate the support. So we are, at this point, halfway through, I guess. All right, 17 weeks. Are we going 18 weeks?
As far as I know, it's still 17.
17. Okay. All right. So first, Zach, I have to speak up about something. I misspoke earlier in the week when I said that I won the Pick'em last week. Hefe has since called it to my attention that he and I actually tied.
So yeah, trying to pull a fast one on everybody, taking all the credit.
Just wanted to clear the air and make sure that we're 100% legit on this show. Hefe, I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Yep, all good. Just know I'm going to beat you this week.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, we're about to find out. I'm gonna see what you pick, and I'm just gonna keep picking what you pick. That way, no matter what happens, I always stay a game or two ahead of you.
Oh, doing them dirty.
All right. Let's start with the Packers and the 49ers. This should fall right into place. The Packers should show their dominance here. I'm a little concerned about that. They should win this with very little problem. I'm a little concerned about that. We'll see. But all in all, I can't pick against the Packers here.
Yeah, too many injuries for the 49ers, or this would be a great game. I have the Packers bouncing back after the Week 8 loss to Minnesota. They're favored by 6 here. I think they'll top that.
Yeah, like you said, just too many injuries for the 49ers to really be confident. You know, if George Kittle was in this game, I'd feel better about it because he's a great run blocker. And I'm sure Kyle Shanahan will dial it up, and they'll probably be able to run on the Packers. You know, they're the Packers defense, you can run on them, and we all know that. So expect the 49ers to get some rush yards, but I think that overall there's just not enough there for the 49ers, so the Packers should win this game.
Okay, we all three agree. We're all three taking the Packers. Next up, Broncos at Falcons. There ain't no way I'm picking the Broncos 2 weeks in a row. They're too unpredictable. It's like taking the Vikings 2 weeks in a row around here, especially on the road. And after Raheem has apparently called a priest and exorcised the demons from the Falcons locker room, I don't care how good Garrett Bowles claims the Broncos are, they aren't winning this one.
Yeah, Atlanta is a 4-point favorite at home here. My gut's telling me to actually go with Denver. But I think this Atlanta offense will just be too much, and they'll get it done. I got Atlanta by 3.
Yeah, I think there's actually going to be, a decent game. Drew Lock looked a lot better this past week against the Chargers, and they really only won that game because of a lot of bad calls. Let's call it for what it is. The refs had a bad game, kind of gifted that one to the Broncos there at the end. But the Broncos, like Brad said, have been so up and down. You don't know what you're getting with them here, so. I'm going to go ahead and take the Falcons in this one.
Okay, we all three agree on that one. We're going to take the Falcons. All right, next up, Seahawks at the Buffalo Bills. Anybody know what the forecast in Buffalo is this week?
No, but I would assume very cold.
It's getting to. I mean, it may not seem trivial, but it's getting to be that time of year. Winter in Buffalo, man, ain't no joke. We were talking cold, sleet, and snow. Let me look it up here.
65 and sunny.
Yep.
Never mind. Seahawks win.
Yeah, 6-1 Seahawks heading into 6-2 Bills. I want to take the Bills here, but they played poorly the last 4 games, and Russell Wilson is just on another level right now. Seattle's favored by only 3. I think they'll cover, but not by very much.
Yeah, actually, I don't know which way to go. And I think the Seahawks win this game either way, but I don't know if it'll be close or a blowout because of what we've seen from the Bills the last couple of weeks. And the Seahawks defense last week looked improved. They're getting Jamal Adams back. They should be even better. I'm going to say this is going to be a blowout. The Seahawks are going to make the Bills look bad.
Yeah, do you think teams are figuring Josh Allen out? You think that's part of their struggles?
Well, I just think they can't run the ball. You know, they started so well passing the ball because I think people expected them to run the ball more, and now that they're looking at stopping the pass first, you know, they really up until this past week against the Patriots didn't have a good running game with their running backs. And I think, you know, as I said a couple weeks ago, it came to fruition last week. You lean on Zach Moss a little more, you do better in the run game. So I think if they keep playing him more, they're going to be harder to figure out because then they can use the run game, use the play action to open Stephon Diggs up down the field. But until they do that, they're probably going to keep struggling on offense.
Okay. All right. Well, you heard it from the guru. And the three of us are picking the Seahawks. All right. Next up, Bears at Titans. Man, I'm really looking forward to this game. The Titans defense is so bad. The Bears might have an offensive breakthrough. You know, Nick Foles gets hot on this Titans defense. This game is over.
Yeah, it'll be pretty interesting to watch. Last week, Chicago played like trash and still almost beat the Saints. Meanwhile, Tennessee ended up losing to Cincinnati. This will be a pivotal game, in my opinion, to measure both of these teams. I think Chicago has gotten lucky en route to their 5-3 record thus far, but the same could be said about the Tennessee Titans as well. I think they're actually going to bounce back after their last week loss to the Bengals. So I like Tennessee here. They're a 5.5 favorite, but Chicago is going to cover that 5.5 points, and it's going to be a close game to the end.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a fairly close game too. You know, we're watching a good offense against a good defense and a bad offense against a bad defense. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. You know, what I think it comes down to for me, you know, again, you've heard me say before, I'm a little biased on the defensive side. So I think defense can win you games, and that's really what it comes down to. I think if Tannehill or throws an interception or two, or there's a fumble or two, then I think that'll be enough to separate this game. And I think we get good Nick Foles. We've had bad Nick Foles for a couple weeks. I think we get good Nick Foles against the Titans, and I think their offense is able to have a fairly big day, and I think they win this game.
Okay, so you notice I didn't give a prediction before you guys went. I was waiting to see what Zach was going to do, and Zach went with the Titans. I'm going. I'm going with the Bears.
See, I was sitting here waiting. I was like, wait, he didn't make a pick. I guess I'll go.
Just kidding. I'm going to go with the Bears too, and I think it's close enough that with this being in Tennessee, it really worries me. Tennessee being at home, and but I agree with Hefe. I think the Bears defense will overcome. I think the Titans are good, but I think they're overrated. So we'll see. All right. Next up, Lions at the Vikings. It's a good thing I don't have to make a decision on this to save my life. I don't. Do the Vikings have their shit together? I don't know what to expect. I don't know. After beating the Packers, they should roll the Lions, but it's the Vikings and the Lions. I don't know. I don't know. So I'm going to go with the Vikings because they're at home. I got a bad feeling that they're going to make me look stupid again.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not quite sure where to go here. You never know how well either one of these teams are going to play. But I'm still holding faith that the Vikings will get it together. And the Lions are still the Lions. So Minnesota's favored by 4 at home. I think they're going to cover.
So, you know, you guys think this is going to be, you know, a tough game to call. Let me tell you why this is going to be a guaranteed Vikings win. Okay. First of all, the obvious, Kenny Galladay not in the lineup, Lions always lose. If he's not there, the Lions are losing. Also, you can run on the Lions defense. We saw it last week with the Colts. It wasn't even Jonathan Taylor having a big day, and the Colts were able to have a big day. You can run on them, and I expect Dalvin Cook to have another really big week. It should look a lot like last week against the Packers, and I think that the Vikings are going to run away with this game.
And throwing the guaranteed word out there, I like it.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're all three in agreement, except for the guarantee part, because I'm far from throwing that word out.
I'm with you.
Yeah, but we're all three going with the Vikings. All right, so we've been neck and neck. We've been even this point. We've all picked the same teams, right? No, we got one game.
Tennessee Chicago game's different.
Yeah. All right, so I thought this might be where we split. Next up, Ravens at the Colts. So the Ravens are struggling offensively. Hefe, you talked about that on Monday. Darius Leonard is back. And with Leonard in, the Colts are one of the elite defenses of the league, if not the best in the league. The Colts are at home. I want them to win. I hope they win. I think they can win. But for some reason, I just can't pick them this week. I have to go with the Ravens.
I'm highly disappointed in you. But this is the game of the week for me, not because I'm a Colts fan, but because you have two really good defenses squaring off in this one. And I'm a defensive kind of guy. Uh, if Baltimore wants to win, they need a better performance out of the reigning MVP, Lamar Jackson. He hasn't played well the last few games, really the entire season. And if you play poorly against this Indy defense, they're going to make you pay for it. On the flip side, Philip Rivers needs to protect the ball, manage the clock. Baltimore's a 3-point favorite. But if all those things can come together, I believe the Colts can, and I believe they will get it done at home.
Yeah, if you're a fan of old-fashioned football, this is going to be the perfect game for you. These two teams are so similar stylistically. You have two really elite defenses, and then you have two really good run games, but they've both been struggling, and nobody knows why. And this is going to be a game where whoever's able to get that run game going better is going to get the job done because Lamar he's been turning the ball over, whether it's fumbles or interceptions. He's not passing well, and he's turning the ball over. And Philip Rivers over the last two games has played really, really well, but he also, everybody worries about him turning the ball over too. So there's always that going against a good defense. And so I think this is going to be, a back and forth, punch for punch kind of game. Probably nothing outrageously huge on offense. And, I just think that when it comes down to it, I trust Philip Rivers more right now as a quarterback than I do Lamar Jackson. And I think the Colts can get it done this weekend.
That's interesting you say that because I was waiting for you to finish, and I was going to come in and say that at this point I trust Lamar Jackson more than I trust Philip Rivers. I was really going to say that, and the reasoning behind my line of thinking is that Jackson's in a slump, right? Jackson has. I mean, I don't know how long. We never know how long, but arguably the guy's got another 5 really good years left in him. He's in a slump. He's going to come out of that slump at any time. It could be this week. It could be next year. We don't know, and he could never come out of it. I mean, that's happened before, right? Rivers has seen his best years, and you know how I feel about Rivers in this offense. I think it's great, but what concerns me is going to be not if they can't run the ball against the Ravens and they can bring pressure to Rivers, he's going to start forcing it. And if he starts forcing it, the Colts are in a lot of trouble. And that's why I can't. That's personally I can't take the Colts. So, but I hope it's a good game. I think it should be a good game. If the Colts are as legit as we've been talking about them for 6 months, this should be a really, really good game. And in my opinion, if it is a good game, just like the Ravens Steelers game, then it's not indicative of who's clearly better. We'll find that out in the playoffs.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been talking about the Colts' inability for running this year, and we've run pretty well. We get decent yardage, just not real good yards per carry. And I thought Frank Reich made a real good point a couple days ago of when the media asked him about it. He said, "Well, if you look back at the Jets game or the Vikings game or some of those games where they were up and just trying to kill clock, they weren't calling plays to get chunk plays. They were calling plays to kill the clock, so that they were getting 2 and 3 yards. So it's been the numbers are a little skewed from that end, and I could see that. So this will be the game. This is going to have to be the game. The plays that you think can work for you, you have to call them against this elite defense, and they have to work because I expect both Lamar and Phillip to both throw at least one interception or have at least one turnover each. It's just going to happen. But it's whose running game is going to work better. And this is the game the Colts have to control the clock and have to get Jonathan Taylor and Naheem Hines and Jordan Wilkins going, and they have to make it work this week.
Agreed. And this is a playoff tune-up game. This is where you see if you got what it takes. You start figuring out if you've got what it takes to go to the end. So I'm really excited for this game this weekend.
Who'd you pick to win, Jeff?
I picked the Colts to win this weekend.
Okay, Zach, you
Really
picked the
close
Colts.
game, though. I don't know how close this game's going to be, but the Colts and Ravens always play really close games. This shouldn't
Yeah.
be any different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach, you picked the Colts as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Zach and Hefe picked the Colts, and I have reluctantly, I want to go on record, reluctantly picked the Ravens. So,
Yeah, and a side note, yesterday on the fantasy show, Zach and I, when we were talking about the Ravens and Colts, I think we said that the game was in Baltimore. This game is in Indianapolis in the Dome, so the weather's not going to be an issue.
okay, cool. All right. Next up, Panthers at Chiefs. Chiefs, back to you, Zach.
Yeah, Kansas City has scored 74 more points on offense than Carolina has and given up 41 less points on the season. Plus, they're at home. So I expect Kansas City to win by at least 2 touchdowns. They're favored by 10.5 points.
Man, you guys are just throwing away the Panthers that easily. That's crazy. They get
Bro,
CMC.
it's the Chiefs, dog.
Who? The Chiefs are what? Okay, they're 7-1, so they've been beaten this year, right?
But they've scored 74 more points than Carolina and given up 41 points less.
Yeah, and they've been.
And they're the defending Super Bowl champs.
The Chiefs have been one of the healthy.
And the Panthers lost to the Falcons.
Good point.
Hey, that was nasty weather. Well, okay, that was last week. We're talking about this week. I don't know. This is a hard game to call because I think CMC is going to make a huge impact in this game. I think he'll be able. Him and Robbie Anderson will be able to expose the holes in the defense. The issue here is going to be, Spagnuolo. We know Spagnuolo likes to send blitzes, and this Carolina offense has been a little beat up. And they're going to have to hold up, and Teddy's going to have to take care of the ball in this one. There's just something about this one that, as much as I thought in the same line as you guys, like, oh, the Chiefs are definitely going to win this game after what we saw last week. But in my core, it just feels like the Panthers, with CMC coming back, they're going to be able to figure it out, and they're going to pull this win out.
You're picking the Panthers?
I'm picking the Panthers.
That's what I like to hear.
Wow.
Extending that lead, baby. Extending that lead.
Wow. I take everything I said back earlier. I am not going to pick the same picks you're picking. That's a pretty ballsy move, Mav. All right, so Jeff is taking the Panthers, and you make great points, and the Panthers are better than we expected this year, and I thought they'd make a run at the South. They've still got some things to work out, and Hefe, you might have just covered them, so it'll be interesting to see how this game goes. But Zach and I are taking the Chiefs. All right, next up, Giants at the Washington football team. I know that Washington is at home, and the Giants have the worst record in the NFC East, but I got a hunch, and I'm going to go with the Giants on this one.
Interesting. Well, the Washington football team has a top 8 ranked scoring defense. The New York football Giants have the 4th worst scoring offense. Washington's favored by 3 at home. They'll win and they'll cover in yet another super boring NFC East matchup.
Yeah, there's going to be another defensive battle, and a defensive battle between two teams that have been pretty inept on offense. I like some of the weapons on both these offenses, so I don't really know which way to lean here, but it just feels like Ron Rivera, with Kyle Allen as his starter, and they're coming off of a bye week, so they've had a little more time to get in sync, and, this is what we want to do. This is how we want to do it. And so I think even against a tough Giants defense, because even though the Giants are 1-7, all right, they do have a pretty stout defense. They're just weak in some areas. But I think weak in some areas is just enough to get them beat this week against the Washington football team.
Okay, so you're both taking Washington?
Yep.
And I'm taking the Giants. All right, next up, Texans at Jaguars. Does anyone care?
Not really.
No. This is I care. I hope the Jaguars win. One, so we can ridicule the Texans fans even more and keep kicking them while they're down. And 2, the Dolphins get better draft picks next year. So I'm going with the Jags. Wishful thinking.
Yeah, I wish I could take the Jags here, but they're just complete trash. I don't even know who their starting quarterback is anymore. Uncle Rico's on the bench now. We saw how well that tape worked out for him. But Houston's favored by 7. They'll cover.
Yeah, I just don't know if this will be close. I expect the Jags to run a lot, which might keep the game a little closer. Because that'll keep the Jags on the field. Houston's defense is trash, so they'll be able to run on them. But the Jags are bringing in the rookie sixth rounder, and I'm not taking some rookie from the sixth round over a Deshaun Watson led team. There's just no way I can do that. I got to go with the Texans here.
All right. I told you mine was wishful thinking, so I'm trying to project and manifest that win.
Oh, you'll do that, but you won't do it for the Colts, huh?
Ooh.
Got him.
Touche. I don't have an answer for that, so let's keep moving. Raiders at the Chargers, interconference game, which should make this a good game that could go either way because these teams, beat the hell out of each other. But I think Chucky's got the Raiders on the rise, and the Chargers. I think they don't. I'm not sure the coach knows what they're doing. Raiders win this one, in my opinion.
Yeah, so this is actually the closest predicted game of the week. The Chargers are 1.5-point favorites at home. It's an interdivisional game. Anything can happen. We talk about this almost every single week. But the Raiders are currently sitting at number 8 in the AFC playoffs race. So it's a very big game for them. I think they're going to go in there. They're going to win. They'll get it done.
Yeah. I think people have kind of overreacted about the way the Raiders played against the Bucks a couple weeks ago, and then they seemed surprised when the Raiders came out and beat the Browns. Like, the Bucks are just a good team, right? The Browns were a good team, and the Raiders went in there and handled business in a nasty weather game. And this is one where I like both teams a lot, and I like Justin Herbert, what he's able to do. I like the Chargers defense, but Brad, I'm glad you brought it up because Anthony Lynn is just getting out coached. The 5 losses, they could be 7-0. The 5 losses they have, they were up by double digits and they let go of the lead late. And one of those against the Bucks. And because of that, I just can't trust them to win this game. I want to say the Chargers have all the essentials to win, but if you can't keep a lead in 5 different games, what makes me think you're going to do it in this one? I'm taking the Raiders.
Yeah, and that's a really, really good point because you're up against a guy who's taken 2 teams to their respective conference championships and has won 1 Super Bowl, and the other one he arguably should have gone to the Super Bowl if it wasn't for the Tuck rule. Chucky's got a lot of experience. He's not his brother, who's floundering out in Jacksonville, making him look like a bunch of jackasses. Chucky's going to be the difference in this game. We're on the same page. So we've all 3 picked the Raiders, correct?
Correct.
All right. Next up, Steelers and Cowboys. This is the week where Mike Tomlin shows Jerry Jones and the rest of the country exactly why the Steelers should have been on Sunday night last week instead of America's trash. Steelers will remain the only unbeaten team and improve to 8-0.
Yeah, I don't have the odds for this game. It wasn't posted at the time I was taking the notes for the show. But whatever the odds are, the Steelers are easily going to cover it and move to 8-0.
Yeah, the real question is just how many points are the Steelers about to score. I think they should probably get like 70, be the first team to score 70 in probably the last decade, right? The Cowboys are going to have like negative 16 by the end of the game, and it's going to be an absolute laugh of a game.
Yep. All right, we're all 3 taking the Steelers, and everybody else should too. I don't remember. I don't remember how many people picked the Cowboys. There shouldn't be anybody picking the Cowboys. We need to round up all the people that are picking the Cowboys and all the people picking the Jets and get them together and let them pair off and find a mate and marry each other. No, that probably wouldn't be a good idea. Never mind. We want to raise the bar of intelligence in this country.
Oh, ouch.
All right, Dolphins at Cardinals. Never again, ever. Nope. I refuse. I am not betting against the Dolphins. They better go to Arizona and continue to do what they've been doing.
Yeah, this game's a real toss-up for me. Arizona's a 4.5-point favorite at home. I've gone back and forth on this one, but I think Miami is just the better team. The Dolphins will upset the Cardinals, pull within a half game of the Bills in the AFC East, and be in a 4-way tie for the last 2 wildcard spots with Las Vegas, Cleveland, and Baltimore after the Colts beat them this week.
Yeah, it's weird to hear that this is an upset because look at the numbers, okay? The Cardinals, their strength of schedule right now, according to Pro Football Focus, is negative 3.7. That's the third easiest schedule in the league this year up to this point, okay? So, the Dolphins, they've kind of been through it, you know what I mean? And then they just beat a pretty good Rams team. So, for me, even though Tua only had 93 yards in his debut, I like what the Dolphins defense is doing. I think that they're going to have more luck on the offensive side. They're going to want to get Tua going. I think they're going to run the ball better here, and I'm taking the Dolphins here.
Okay, we're all three taking the Dolphins. Yeah, you guys know that. I mean, we're at the tipping point. There are people starting to notice the Dolphins now, and in 3 weeks, everybody's going to be talking about how good they thought the Dolphins were going to be at the beginning of the year. But they're not favored because people still aren't paying attention. So I just wanted to document that fact on video. We're going to pull these videos together when the Dolphins make the playoffs and or win the Super Bowl next year, and we're going to show everybody we've been talking about them. I mean, I love what they're doing. I love what Flores is doing right from the very beginning. So, all right, Saints at Bucks. The rematch in the NFC South that we have been waiting for is a little premature. It was week 1, right?
Yep.
A little premature, especially coming out of this disastrous preseason and offseason with COVID and all the weird stuff that happened, and Brady just getting to Tampa Bay. So this should be another really good game. It could go either way, but the trends show that I know the Bucks squeaked one out against the Giants. I didn't watch it. I don't know if they just kind of went into prevent mode and trying to run out the clock or whatever the case may be. I don't know. Or if they really struggled. I don't know. But the Bucks know what's on the line, and I fully expect the Bucks come away and push a little further ahead to taking this division.
Yeah, this is my runner-up game of the week here. I love watching Breeze play, especially facing off against another legend like Tom Brady in this Bucks team. Like you said, in week 1, New Orleans came out on top with a 34-23 win. Since then, the Saints have kind of struggled. I know they're missing some key pieces like Michael Thomas, but they've still managed to pull out a 5-2 record, while the Bucks have finally developed an identity. And although they had a rough go at it against the Giants last week, they're still the second best team in the NFC according to record and the best overall NFC team right now, in my opinion, with an argument of being maybe the best team in the league. But they're favored by 5.5 at home. I think they'll even the score against the Saints and cover the spread.
This is a game. I think we really have to boil it down to what the Saints have been able to do over the last, what's it been, like 5-6 weeks since Michael Thomas was in the lineup. And right now, they're sitting at a real nice 5-2 without him. And the last 2 games, they didn't have Michael Thomas or Emmanuel Sanders, missing top 2 receivers, right? So they've been leaning on Alvin Kamara a lot and hoping other guys step up, and they have. And defense has played just well enough. It's been a couple of ugly wins, but winning without your top 2 receivers is always an impressive thing. And the Bucks were down for most of the game against the Giants. And the Giants almost tied it up. They almost had the 2-point conversion to tie it up and take it to overtime. The Bucks could have lost that game easily. And as much as people are up on the Bucks and people want to hate on Drew Brees right now, I'm rolling with the Saints this weekend.
I wish I could tease you, but I can't. I mean, the Saints are very capable of winning this game, and just because I think they're better and they're going to win, especially it's an interconference game. So this will be a fun game to watch for sure. I'll just have to find something else to try to make fun of you about. All right, Patriots at Jets. The first game that the Jets might have a shot at winning, but it's not going to happen. Patriots should snap their 4-game losing streak.
Yeah, the Patriots have lost 4 straight games for the first time since the Big Bang happened billions of years ago. Fortunately for them,
I think that was Bill Zebub's first year coaching. What?
Yeah, something like that. But fortunately for the Patriots, they're playing the second worst team of all time, according to Brad from last week, in the New York Jets. Surprisingly, the Patriots only favored by 7. I would imagine Belichick can throw some duct tape on this sinking ship for a game and cover this one.
Yeah, I think this is actually going to be, a tougher game for the Patriots, and it should be. I don't know how they didn't flex this game out of Monday Night Football. There's no shot we should have to be stuck watching this
I
game.
thought you were going to say this was going to be a good game.
No, 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 no,
But
no.
finally, you changed it. I was getting ready to make fun of you. I just told you I was going to, and I thought you were going to say this is going to be a good game, and I was getting ready to just drop the hammer, but you dodged to the left, and I missed it.
Yeah, no, we weren't going that way. No, this is going to be hard to watch, just like the NFC East stuff that we've been watching. But, I think with Sam Darnold getting Jameson Crowder back this week, it'll be closer than the last few games for the Jets. But, I have this game finishing up 27-17. You don't expect too many spark plugs coming from the Patriots offense either, right? I mean, they don't really have anybody that jumps out of the page at you. So, it's going to be a really boring game, but you would expect Bill Belichick to be able to get Adam Gase. So, like I said, I have the Patriots winning 27-17.
Okay, and that ain't no guess. That's what it's going to be.
What it's going to be.
All right, this does it for this week. We want to remind you to please be sure to show us some love and like, share, and subscribe. It only takes a second. It certainly helps us get the word out. So please tell all your friends. Help us reach 1,000 YouTube subscribers and have a chance to win an authentic NFL jersey from the NFL shop on us. If you're watching this, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss an episode. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, head on over to YouTube and please help us out. We appreciate the support. It's not too late to go head to head against us in the weekly pick 'em battle. Hop on our Facebook, Twitter page at Horsemen Sports, where you can find the link to join for free the pigskin pick 'em battle and win a prize. Maybe get on there with us and represent your team. For all you crazy fantasy fanatics out there, if you haven't already, be sure to check out our latest episode of Fantasy Central, released just last night. It's hot off the presses, up to date, hot information that you must have, where the Oracle and the Guru cover the top waiver wire picks, must starts, and players to avoid this coming week. And of course, we will see you all back here again on Tuesday, where we will review the games and trash the Cowboys and the Jets from the weekend. Until then, thanks for joining us and enjoy the games.
Deuces Magooses.